Hey, baby, the night is young. Yeah, right. The night is middle-aged, getting some gray hairs, just like me. Whatever. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, coming at you from Jay's Geek House, somewhere in the dead of night, and I dinged myself with the razor trying to fix this. What the heck, man? I've heard of a 5 o'clock shadow among the day shift folks, but this must be the night shift version of it. But it's weird because I took the electric buzz thingy and actually cut myself in a place or two. Can't get this to go away in this lighting. So whoosh, I can see where I'd have a mustache if I had a mustache. Believe me, I am so tempted to grow a mustache because other than streaming, only the people that follow me on stream are actually going to be able to see the thing, because it's one of those things you got to think about if you're working somewhere and you got to wear a mask every single day. Like, you know, there's some folks that have beards popping up eventually because, like, heck with this, I'm growing a beard. But a mustache is kind of the stealth job. Either somebody knows about you in real life, or they watch your stream or whatnot like this, and they say whoosh like that or something along those lines. But my mentor many years ago in the business world had a mustache, and some of the friendliest people I've worked with in business, for some reason they took their style cues from the 70s. So maybe because they were roughly that age. But you see a big bushy mustache or something. Some folks have handlebars, things like that. I don't know. Anyways, we gotta say a few things about this Twitch thing. Again, for those of you that don't know about Twitch DMCAmageddon, last year there was problems with DMCA. Many of us saw this coming. Some were more, gung-ho about it than others. But, yeah, anyways, that's what we're here to talk about today, because Twitch has inked a deal with the NMPA, the National Music Publishers Association. And, yeah. Here's how this crap works. Someone who doesn't really know much about business, doesn't know much about the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or doesn't know much of anything other than they stream on Twitch and have fun and whatnot, can see something like this deal and think it's some kind of all clear or some kind of actual improvement to the platform. The truth is, it's not. It isn't. As a matter of fact, when you compare this to what YouTube and even Facebook have, it is utterly underwhelming. And this is not the first time that of course, myself or anybody else has been underwhelmed by a so-called new feature or an advancement on Twitch. And to understand the situation with Twitch, we have to understand the situation with where Twitch is as a business. And that's why, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen that I was taking a look at some corporate stuff before coming on stream tonight. So here's the situation with all that corporate stuff that I was sharing on Twitch. The Dollar Express store chain that I post the articles about from Supermarket News and whatnot. This is a confusing as all heck corporate situation that's hard for even me to talk about. I have to basically have the article on screen in order to get all the details right, because there were a lot of companies involved. Well, should I say there are multiple companies involved with similar sounding names. So the Dollar Express thing that I've been talking about on Twitter as a prelude to this discussion in terms of Twitch under Amazon, it involved, let's see if I can get these names right, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, and Dollar Express. So let me, while looking at the article, see if I can get this right because of all these similar names. Years ago, Dollar Tree wanted to buy Family Dollar. Familiar with Family Dollar? They used to have a store around here, but it went out of business. Or it shut down, blah, blah, blah. I guess it wasn't doing as well as other stores several towns away, to be expected out here in the Connecticut woods. And to be even more expected with the boom and bust cycle of retail that this area has seen in the last 15 years or so. Not 15, but since the crash. Almost 15 years. So when real estate prices crashed during the recession, a lot of companies took advantage of the cheap real estate and expanded into the area, hoping maybe that they'd get the sales to keep the doors open once everything got back to normal and everything went back up. Some companies did better than others. Drinks at the ready, baby. Some companies did better than others with that. And so there have been some stores around here that have gone out of business as things have changed from the recession conditions that spawned them. Unfortunately, Family Dollar was one of them. Several years ago, actually. I mean, this is a 2015 type thing now. Dollar Tree goes to buy Family Dollar. Government says no for antitrust reasons. So in order for Dollar Tree to buy Family Dollar, they have to spin off 323 stores. They sell it off to a private equity firm, Sycamore, who wants to turn those stores into a new store chain called Dollar Express. Dollar Express, you've probably heard of the competition. You've never heard of Dollar Express because it barely existed, if it existed at all. So it just never worked. Eventually, after some lawsuits went back and forth, Sycamore, the private equity company, wound up selling those stores to Dollar General. So it was a really short-lived thing. It was a really short-lived example of corporate, whatever you want to call it, with all the buying and selling, mergers and acquisitions. This gets pretty confusing because of all the dollar names in it. The thing here is, though, the lawsuits that I mentioned were between Sycamore, the company buying the stores, and Dollar Tree, the company selling them. One of the allegations among those lawsuits was that the stores being spun off, which were supposed to become Dollar Express, they were set up to fail. As the stores were being set up to be spun off, the talent and the management was swapped around, so all the worst managers were in those stores. There were some other accusations as well, that new stores for Family Dollar were just going to be opened up next to the stores they divested, so they just expand back into the markets that the local areas that they left by selling the stores. And of course, the stores there were set up to fail, allegedly. And so what we have here is a situation where just because companies get bought and sold doesn't mean that the companies involved in the buying and selling always have good intentions. It's tempting to think, I think I stopped giving myself a headache with that article now. It's tempting to think that just because, and I've done this before, it's a nice mental shortcut that makes things simple for you. It's tempting to think that because YouTube has thrived under Google into one of the premier, if not the premier, video and soon to be all of online media platforms in the world, that if there's a similar situation elsewhere, that the same thing is in play. And the answer to that is, of course, no. With Twitch, it wasn't just the platform that Amazon got value from when they bought it. Twitch had a lot of very well-developed streaming technology that could now be essentially intellectual property owned by Amazon because they own the company that had it. So I see people complain about Twitch, and I could even complain that this current deal, what they're doing is underwhelming. This NMPA thing is underwhelming with Twitch. I could actually say, oh, this is boring, this is underwhelming, it's not interesting. But I have to ask, though, when you know what's going on with Facebook, and when you know what's going on with YouTube, does Twitch even have any chance whatsoever? Let me show you a little something, and let's link a web browser here. Let me show you a little something that I posted on Twitter earlier, and I think it deserves to be on this screen and in this stream. Let's see, browser mode. It's probably going to link to the wrong browser, right? Yeah, it is. Hey, hi, live control room. Wrong. Minimize, and that'll freeze everything. So we can just back out, whoosh, come back to a nice blue slate gradient while we hook up the web browser to the right one, because I was using it with Firefox last time, so it's trying to be smart. Here's Chrome. What we are looking at here is, this is a screenshot that I took of Facebook's answer to the YouTube audio library. It's a little cut off on the top, but up on the top of this thing, can I get this back? All right, can I get my pointer back? Creator Studio. So it's just like, kind of like YouTube Creator Studio, essentially. This is Facebook's answer. And even has little things to click between Facebook and Instagram. This is Facebook's answer to the YouTube audio library. Look familiar? Now, here's the fun part about the Facebook version of this. The Facebook version of this, these are like indie artists and stuff. I don't know if it's the same setup because I don't hardly know anything about how Facebook is doing this. But the YouTube version, with YouTube and the way YouTube works, basically there's an agreement that the artist gives up the rights to whatever they create, but they will get, attribution and stuff like that, and that's being worked into the systems. And they basically get their name out there. It's a pure publicity move whenever a recording artist submits music to the YouTube audio library. But they do give up some rights in the process, so that way it can be exclusive. It can be stuff that YouTube owns, essentially, and there's no arguing about all of that. I've had some folks actually tell me that, like Slink, for example, talked to him on Discord when one of his songs was getting being taken for a ride, so to speak, by some people that were messing around on YouTube. And he told me the dirty little secret that actually the songs made by various artists on the YouTube audio library are actually YouTube property that gets all signed over and stuff. But this, I was listening to some of these songs of this Barely Hanging On by Julia Gartha. It's actually a real song. And I could imagine like a montage or something on Facebook or Instagram. I could imagine a montage of like pictures or something with this song playing in the background, or some kind of video montage of some sort used for dramatic effect. Or, if you watch like a movie or something and a song comes on and it goes to all, just a montage of video here and there because something's happening. That's basically what you could use some of these songs for, among whatever other creative things you could think up. But here is what actually chasing after YouTube looks like in the world of big tech. A Team Blue thing, and this isn't just for streaming on Facebook gaming. This is like for Facebook videos and maybe even Facebook Live. Who knows? I don't know what the license is for these tracks, but I was listening to them and they're actually real songs. They're not instrumentals. There are a couple of real songs on the YTAL, but they're few and far between. And sometimes I've actually seen some of them actually get pulled for whatever reason. So I don't know if it got I don't know why. There's actually a couple of songs by Jingle Punks that add vocals that I used to use that are no longer on the YTAL for some reason, and I have no idea why. But what we have here is essentially real songs. But this is what happens when you go after YouTube. I've talked about Facebook as the underrated competitor in this market. That's because of the systemic issues that Facebook faces. Facebook, and we do a whole discussion just about how Facebook has evolved. But I'll just say this right now. Every single decade, Facebook becomes something else. Facebook was one thing in the 2000s. It became another thing in the 2010s. And now it's changing again to turn into something else in the 2020s. And what I think Facebook is going to be in the 2020s is an omni-channel media platform. I think, especially considering how there's talk about trying to regulate social media and trying to break up Facebook. I think if Facebook were to break up, whether under government pressure or otherwise, if Facebook were to break up, we'd probably have something akin to Twitter on one side, like the Facebook we use in the 2010s, and then maybe like Facebook Media or something along those lines. But the video and other stuff, I think videos, streams, and to some extent like pictures and stuff, maybe something like Instagram or something would be on the other side. Because this is a whole new Facebook that's being developed. The problem is many of us are so used to the old Facebook from the previous decade that I don't know if we could really ever accept under this brand Facebook being this Facebook thing being called Facebook. What do I mean by that? If you look at various content creators nowadays, or people that want to build something, they're going to have videos and streams in short form on YouTube, or maybe they'll have short form on TikTok. Maybe they'll take pictures on Instagram, or they'll use something else to host pictures, or they'll have a blog somewhere, or just whatever they get involved with is going to be split across all different kinds of platforms. I do that too, actually, so I know what I'm talking about. I can't be making fun of it either, because I'm kind of making fun of myself if I do. However, Facebook by itself, you create a persona, it's on Facebook. People can like and follow the page, and they get text updates, pictures, video of all lengths, and streaming, both live, Facebook Live and Facebook Gaming. And I think Facebook could actually consolidate some of those together and probably will at some point. But if Facebook ever got past some of their systemic issues, like some of the like DMCA robots and other algorithmic type stuff, which they're not the only platform that has this problem. TikTok has a bit of a problem with false positive bans and things along those lines. But if Facebook ever got everything together, Facebook would be a force to be reckoned with, because you could do just about everything on Facebook and have your entire presence on Facebook. You know how people say diversify your social medias and, things like crossover rates and stuff like that? You'll get a certain size audience on YouTube. Only a percentage of those audiences will follow you anywhere else, like Twitch or something like that. And the best way, you should be on YouTube because it has everything together. You have to worry about crossover rates and transfer rates and whatnot less often. Facebook, everything there. The equivalent of your YouTube, the equivalent of your Twitch, the equivalent of your Twitter, the equivalent of your Instagram on Facebook, even though Instagram's a Facebook company. Direct messaging, too. Everything Facebook has under one umbrella. I think the biggest reason why people don't take Facebook as seriously as they should is because they're thinking of Facebook in the 2010s, like your feed, you follow pages, maybe there's a problem with misinformation, but that's the old Facebook. I think that's going to go away, and the new Facebook is going to be this type of stuff. And everybody who wants to be a content creator on Facebook, especially when the video platform starts to get kind of like FB Watch, as it's called, when that starts to pick up some steam, there's going to be plenty of good tools for content creators to have. This is what serious competition with YouTube looks like. Now, ask yourself this question. If you're Twitch, what chance do you have? So we talked about a thing earlier. Just because Amazon bought Twitch doesn't mean... Now we have to shrink this down a little. Actually, no, let's put the text back on the screen. Just because Amazon bought Twitch doesn't mean that Amazon is going to treat Twitch the same way that Google treats YouTube. Because companies buy and sell subsidiaries for different reasons. People complain about Twitch being underwhelming, not getting the right things done, and like working on ads or something instead of stuff the creators might actually want. If Twitch does something, though, and you know it's going to be underwhelming and not interesting, what chance do they have? And this is one of those examples. Here's the article, fine in its fine print glory. Here's the email that I got from Twitch regarding their deal with the NMPA. Let's read, because I'm sure this is really small on many people's screens. We're going to absolutely carve this thing up like a Thanksgiving turkey here. MultimediaJay, we're excited to announce we've entered into an agreement with the National Music Publishers Association, NMPA, to build productive partnerships between Twitch and music publishers. As part of this agreement, we want to let you know about a new process that we are creating that participating music rights holders can opt into to report certain uses of their music. So, if you think this is progress with DMCA, you would be wrong, because it's an opt-into system. A rights holder that does not opt into this, it's still strikes only. So what was one of the problems? What was one of the problems I had with this whole situation with DMCA on Twitch? They didn't have a proper competitor to YouTube Content ID. The reason why Content ID works on YouTube the way it does is because it provides an alternative to invoking the DMCA. It even redirects revenue in the form of ad revenue to the rights holder. So you multiply that by everybody using a song, and that eventually adds up. And then YouTube's own systems can search that out and find it wherever people are using it on the platform, just add even more revenue to what's being sent to the rights holders. Some pretty cool stuff. But the most important thing is, if something like this doesn't exist, a rights holder who wants to take action against someone using like unauthorized music or something, their only option is DMCA. So strikes. The DMCA spells out how the process, needs to work to some extent, like repeat infringers being removed, getting their access removed. Now, while the arguments were going on about the way Twitch handles music and not doing enough to protect rights holders, the rights of rights holders, while Twitch has been stuck like this, rights holders have been working on automated systems to automate the DMCA process. So when Twitch wouldn't develop their technology, the rights holders did. And so we heard about the waves of strikes and takedowns that affected the site over the past year in various waves here and there, including some really ridiculous stuff too. Like when Jake and Bake, for example, one of the IRL streamers out in California, Jake and Bake, someone got a little too close while blasting Kanye West. Strike. Just from someone driving by. Another channel, guy goes into a hair salon, or maybe it was Jake, I don't know. There was another channel where a guy went into a hair salon. They were playing Avicii over the radio. So it wasn't even what you would call a perfect digital copy either. If you're trying to like, I'm going to record this and listen to it whenever I want to listen to the song. It was playing in the background. Strike. So if there isn't an alternative, the rights holders will invest in technology that targets the platform. That's why Twitch needs to do something. It's why when Facebook had their music agreement, they had to do something too, and YouTube, of course, with Content ID. Let's continue here. We want to let you know about a new process that we are creating that participating music rights holders can opt into to report certain uses of their music, which is more flexible and forgiving to creators who inadvertently or incidentally use music in their streams than the existing process required under the DMCA and similar global laws. At a high level, this new process, which is distinct from the DMCA, focuses on going forward flagrant uses of music and artists with a warning instead of penalties. Now, this is not interesting. This is not interesting at all because YouTube has a warning for community guideline strikes. It's a permanent mark on your account if you get one, unless you get the warning removed. But if you just have like one warning and then the strikes start, you're not really accomplishing anything. It's just, what if somebody's completely new to the way that music licensing works? So they have no idea how to proceed. And this is something that some creators, even Asmongold and whatnot, have been talking about. Like, hey, if I can't have fun doing this stuff, what's the point of doing it? No matter what the technicalities are or anything along those lines. So yeah, okay, so there's some warnings involved as well. And rights holders have to opt into this for that to even happen. So how does this even change the mode? I mean, how are rights holders motivated to get into this program as opposed to just making robots that crawl and issue strikes if it's not hitting their goodwill or anything in terms of people wanting to listen to music of certain record companies? How is this doing anything? See what I mean? This is dull and it's lackluster, and if you read it a certain way, it sounds like a ripoff of something YouTube already does with the one warning before you start getting strikes. Could someone get multiple warnings? And of course, how about the differences in customer service between big streamers and small streamers? How you can have a big streamer show nudity by accident on a stream and get 24 hours suspension at the most. Or even a warning. Small streamer tells an off-color joke, they're indefinitely suspended, booted off the platform, and the process to appeal takes months before they get to stream again. And for the time period that they're banned, they are subjected to the banned streamer rule on Twitch, which is a whole different discussion. And another major problem with trying to be anything on Twitch, which you really shouldn't be. I mean, if you ever screw up or a system screws up and you get banned, you're now subject to the banned streamer rule. And that by itself is a problem. Just ask any fans of Dr. Disrespect. Or Tim the Tapman, who's glad to be able to play with Doc again on his stream now that the stuffy rule isn't in effect. Anyways, let's get back to this thing. When a participating rights holder reports their use of... all right, starts with a warning set of penalties. Now, this is what they're trying to sell here. When a participating rights holder reports the unauthorized music on a creator's channel, the following will occur. Similar to DMCA, we have a team that will review reports and check for completeness. That's just making sure they wrote it. A legally acceptable takedown request or whatever. Unlike DMCA, Twitch will give creators a chance to course correct by first issuing a warning. So how is this different from a community guidelines warning on YouTube? Is there an expiration for this? Are you going to have something permanent and then, you know, something else happen? It's like, they'll probably have a creator camp on this, but they really shouldn't leave something like this able to be interpreted in so many different ways without actually talking about this in some kind of event. I don't know if they had a creator camp event or anything, but I should see if they did. Unlike DMCA, Twitch will give creators a chance to course correct by first issuing a warning. Twitch will remove any VODs and clips, there's that word again, that contain unauthorized music from the creator's channel. If a live stream involves one of several specified flagrant music uses like rebroadcasting music concerts and broadcasting pre-release tracks, Twitch may also issue a warning or penalty depending on the creator's history of that kind of music use. And here's probably the worst part of the letter and the worst part of every new system that Twitch rolls out that starts with something like this and then turns into a creator camp long after everybody has interpreted their announcement in bazillions of different ways. You need to have this announced live, especially on a live streaming platform. Go full camera here. Twitch. When you do stuff like this, you are a live streaming platform. Announce it live and take questions. Don't send a random email and, oh, we'll have more information forthcoming. You are a live streaming platform and you are so insanely focused on live streaming that you will not expand into video. You want to focus on live is better than VOD, and yet you send a text email to announce new features and give people plenty of time to interpret in any direction they want and make up their minds on something, right or wrong, instead of just streaming it. What? Let's get back to this. This new process does not change how music can be used on Twitch. There you go. The candy's being pulled out of your hands, ladies and gentlemen. As you've said consistently, it's never okay to include music in your channel unless you secure the necessary rights or have the authority to do so. Doing so violates the rights of music creators and runs counter to Twitch's mission of supporting all creators. But we recognize that not all unauthorized uses of music merit the same treatment. Duh. Whoa, whoops. And it is our hope that we can, as part of our agreements with music rights holders, take a balanced approach that supports creators on Twitch. Thank you for reading. Thank you in advance for your understanding, blah, 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 blah. Twitch has struck a deal with the NMPA, but much like advancements that Twitch rolls out, it's lackluster compared to YouTube Content ID. Actually, the Facebook music agreement might have been more robust than this. As always, Team Purple underwhelms. Now, here's the question that I have with regards to this Twitch situation. Does Twitch... Can we say anything tonight? Did Twitch have any options besides this? Are they even invested in any substantial amount? I don't think so. Not when you have Amazon turning around and selling Twitch technology. So you can essentially, no matter who you are, you can actually pay Amazon a certain amount of money, and Amazon Web Services will give you a Twitch-like platform for whatever you want to do with it. That's one of the things they're doing. It's one of those more obscure Amazon services that are out there, but it's part of the results of the acquisition of Twitch here. You get the technology, you own the rights to it. And this is why I talked about that dollar store thing at the beginning of the discussion. It's a very harsh reminder fundamentally, you're talking about when companies buy other companies, they're acquiring them as property and everything that comes along with the deal. So the company, and they can do whatever they want with their property. So if some jackass out there had all kinds of money and they wanted to buy Disney and then get everyone banned from YouTube who has ever done anything with any Disney content whatsoever, I don't think anybody in their right mind in corporate America would do this, then you're talking about who owns the rights. Do they have the right to do that? Well, there you go. Their thing, their decision. They'd destroy Disney in the process as a brand, but it's just the thing here. It's too easy for people to make that mental connection and connect dots that aren't there with the way that Google has treated YouTube versus the way that Amazon treats Twitch. That Amazon needs to build Twitch up into this YouTube competitor or something. No, they don't. If they want to, they can, but it's their decision to do it or not do it. That's the thing. It's also their decision if they decide to buy Twitch so they can buy intellectual property to be able to resell essentially the Twitch services that independently, which, by the way, I believe reselling services is TOS if someone on Twitch does that. But if you own Twitch, you own the technology and whatnot. And this is why we see things like, I believe it was last year, I saw Amazon release that live streaming mobile app for like essentially taking clips of your mobile games and having a small platform to share them with your friends on. I don't know if that ever went anywhere, but when you own Twitch, you own the technology and whatnot, and it's your stuff. So I really got to wonder, especially with the leadership that's leaving Twitch here. I really have to wonder, Amazon, other than using Twitch as a way to get people to sign up for Amazon Prime, Amazon, what value did they gain from the Twitch acquisition? And what is it going to take to get people to stop assuming that Amazon bought Twitch to make Twitch into purple YouTube? So people talk about, Twitch, boring, underwhelming. They're a hierarchy. The algorithms aren't as developed. Yeah. What options does Twitch's folks have if they're not being invested in? Because Amazon bought Twitch for some other reason. And they're kind of putting a little kind of ho-hum thing into, investment in there for things like watch parties and pushing more ads and things like that. So let's imagine, for example, that you lived somewhere, and the person that you were who owned the place you're living at very heavily restricted the money you had, and you lived between two rich people who had all the money in the world, and the folks who owned the place where they lived and whatnot, maybe they owned it themselves, who knows, but they could basically spend all kinds of money and just rub it in your face. They're driving around in the Lamborghinis while you've got some 20-year-old beater mobile with an exhaust leak or something like that, and like 250,000 miles. It's just the situation that you're in. Now imagine if people judge you based on your very heavily restricted money situation, while your rich neighbors just go all over the place. Look at us, we're rich. So, YouTube, Twitch doesn't work on the right stuff, or Twitch doesn't release a lot of stuff. If they don't have the investment to create anything exciting, is that really such a bad thing? Because you would be disappointed every single time they rolled out something. That's the thing. And that's why I showed that Facebook stuff earlier. Facebook is the competitor to keep an eye on, not Twitch. Facebook's obviously trying to build something up. I don't see Amazon doing that with Twitch. Twitch is making progress and doing what they can. But doing what they can, I don't think is ever going to be exciting compared to figuring out why Content ID was a good thing on YouTube. Especially when you see a platform be where YouTube was many years ago with copyright, because they don't have something like that. So there are some other content creators talking about this. I know Zach Bussey was kind of poo-pooing this and, being like, oh yeah, blah, 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 and doing his thing with that. But if there's also virtual legality with Richard Hogue and the folks at the Hogue Law Firm looking at the legal side of this, asking questions like, if somebody gets multiple warnings, does that put their status does that put, them at risk of being considered a repeat infringer, or does that put Twitch at risk of not being able to defend themselves with safe harbor and stuff like that? What does that do? So, yeah. And so, folks, with what we've looked at here with Twitch DMCAmageddon, which barely has changed. Okay, a music publisher can opt in and you'll get warnings, maybe. I don't think that really does much to calm the nerves of an IRL streamer who's wandering through a shopping mall somewhere, wondering if the music playing over the PA now is going to get them strikes or not. Oh yeah, you go to this restaurant. And the music over the PA, is that an artist that's in the program or out of the program? It's like, give me a break. I don't think this really accomplishes much of anything. It's hammed up to look like that, but I can tell you now, there's somebody over at Twitch that's taking notes to try and come up with corporate responses to any criticism that might be piling up, because they sent some random email, which is going around the blogosphere, getting interpreted in all different directions now before they have the details forthcoming. And again, I have to say, why does Twitch have to release new features that way? Why? Give me a break. They're a live streaming platform. Go live. Have some kind of event. Have some kind of announcement and take questions instead of this kind of, well, it's Wednesday, so they technically sent this around on Tuesday, so it's not like they kind of snuck it out the door on their way out of the office on a Friday. Let me see what Zach had to say about this, other than getting upset at Dexerto for being a little jumpy with the headline. Nope. He didn't say anything I haven't already seen. So this is the deal. Maybe there'll be less of the robots crawling Twitch from the NMPA at least, but it's an opt-in program. Yeah, but it's an opt-in program. I don't see long-term this really doing much, if anything at all. It's a step, and that's really the extent of it. It's a step, but it's only a step. It's kind of like you need to run a marathon, you take a step. Nothing exciting. And is Twitch in any position to ever do anything exciting, given what's going on with Facebook and YouTube right now? The Twin Titans. They don't have to be the biggest streaming platforms in the world to give Twitch a run for their very limited money. Yes, I thought that up on the fly. So you got to ask yourself as a content creator, why be involved with Twitch? This is what they're parading around as the solution to one of the biggest problems on the platform right now. How underwhelming is their solution to the hate botters going to be if they release something? It's like, really? Come on, Twitch. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to say streaming on Twitch should be something you do just because you want to stream on Twitch. Maybe just do a gaming channel or something. I don't find it anything exciting. I mean, I've been watching Twitch not look interesting for the better part of a year right now. And then, of course, you had the bots show up. You have the issues with account creation, things like that. And I even had one of those hotspots follow me on Twitch. I banned him shortly afterwards, but I do have my auto mod turned up all the way, so maybe I could do a game stream or something over there. But then you have the limited bandwidths to think of. You have the limited bit rates to think about versus YouTube. Yeah, one of the longest running problems with gaming stuff on YouTube is lower bit rates make, your good looking video games look awful. So the direction should be, as broadband gets better, have more and more bitrate available with transcoding. Twitch still treats transcoding like some privilege instead of a baseline feature. I don't know. I think the takeaway from this is, having run into Facebook's music library, since I've encountered Facebook's music library and all this, I'm going to take a closer look at the new Facebook of the 2020s. See if, because I'm, the old Facebook, so to speak, my involvement on old Facebook was just a few cousins and whatnot. It's nothing exciting. I think I get more stress from Facebook than anything else. And the one solo only reason, I won't say zero, but the one reason for me to even be on old Facebook is because some people might want to keep in touch with me on it, but I have no reason to really be involved there. Now, I'm just curious, though, if you decide to become a content creator on Facebook, what happens when you run up against the people that are kind of thinking this way because of 2010's Facebook and what it left you feeling, what it left you feeling like? I just don't understand, man. I didn't do all that much running around tonight. I messed around with NVIDIA DLAA and ESO a bit when I got home and then went live, and I still, I just feel like I should just go to bed. I think it's because the air conditioner is working. And yes, 54% humidity, it is. It was like 65% humidity when I got here. This summer has had one bizarre issue, and that is that I don't think I've ever used my air conditioner this much like a dehumidifier. I don't think I've ever done that, but that's the reason why I have this little tweet here. I can remove the air conditioner. Nope, too humid. Put it back in. I can remove the air conditioner. Nope, too humid. Put it back in. I can remove the air conditioner. Nope, too humid. Put it back in. So what's next? I have lots to do in literally everything I do. There's a new social media platform that I'm getting involved with. Details forthcoming. Not going to talk. Unlike Twitch, I'm not going to give people stuff to take in all different out of context directions. I'm going to say there's a new platform I'm looking to join. Not even going to say what it is. Leave people just thinking, oh, he's up to something, and then just leave it at that. If it turns out to be a dud, I can just say, it was terrible. I'm not even going to publicize it, and it's game over. But videos, I have stuff that's in the box sitting for way too long. Streams, chat. This is a chat stream topic, so we can check this off the list. Some other things I want to talk about, do some reactions to. Gaming, ESO is incredible right now, and the next update is going to introduce NVIDIA DLSS and DLAA. I'm more interested in DLAA, which is why I was checking it on the test realm before I went live. So, stuff to do in both kinds of streaming. Yeah, plenty to do. But I need to have like 48-hour days to do it all. Whatever. We'll just keep doing what we can. It's just the nature of things. But at least I'm not bored with this stuff. Videos in particular, though. I don't like buying stuff that sits in the box for way too long. Anyways. I could also figure out what to do about this shadow mustache thingy as well. What the? Great, I'm breaking stuff. Great, I'm breaking stuff now. I think that's part of the shock mount. Yeah, I'd better figure out what just fell out and put it back in. I should probably also... I'm going to have to find out what just fell out of this thing before the whole thing falls apart. Speaking of things falling apart, no, just kidding. So, as you all know, I light myself up with a TV, cranking the backlight all the way up. This thing has problems with not starting on the first try. Before I replace it, I want to experiment with TV arms for my desk so I can have adjustable arms for all my monitors instead of using the default stands. I want to get the speakers off my desk too. Those of you that have seen my setup, you'll know I have speakers and everything. I want to figure out how to get my desk space back. And then this TV without its stand is 32 pounds. The next TV I get is going to be lighter, substantially lighter because it's not from 2008. So check the weights and everything, have something and work with monitor arms and things like that, and have a setup that is a lot more flexible than the ad hoc thing that takes up like half my desk. So we'll figure it out. But I have no shortage of things to do. Beginning with figuring out how close is this thing to breaking after whatever that piece was that just fell out. I don't know. Turn the lights back on and look for it. Yeah. So yeah, Twitch, boring. But I don't know if Twitch really had any other options. Just with what's going on between YouTube and Facebook, red and blue is what you should keep an eye on, not red and purple. And if anybody else out there still wants to believe that Twitch in any way is going to take on YouTube with it, in the coming years, they're delusional. It's markets, It's the world we live in and the way things work. Markets create winners and losers. And it hurts to be one of the losers, but you have to, or be involved with one of the losers. But you got to ask yourself, What can I learn from this? Failure is one heck of a teacher sometimes. Till next time, this is Multimedia Jay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.